Have you ever found yourself stuck in a loop of habits you know you should change, but just can't seem to break? Maybe it's the morning routine that's hard to stick to, the late night snacking that you keep telling yourself you'll stop, or the procrastination that has you putting off what's important. It's frustrating, isn't it? No matter how many times you try to will yourself into breaking these habits, it seems like they keep coming back, pulling you back into their grasp. But what if I told you the secret to breaking these habits wasn't about just trying harder? What if the key is understanding the science behind how these habits work in the first place? That's exactly what Charles Duhigg explores in his book, The Power of Habit. In this fascinating read, Duhigg reveals how habits are formed, how they shape our lives, and most importantly, how we can change them for the better. This book isn't just about willpower. It's about understanding the underlying patterns of behavior and using that knowledge to transform our lives. Duhigg's personal journey into the world of habits didn't start in a lab or with grand academic theories. Instead, it began with a personal curiosity and a sense of professional frustration. As a reporter at the New York Times, Duhigg found himself intrigued by the patterns of behavior he witnessed in individuals, companies, and even societies. There were behaviors that seemed almost predictable, repetitive, and yet incredibly powerful in shaping outcomes. But Duhigg, at this point in his career, wasn't just interested in human behavior in a theoretical sense. He was struggling with his own habits. Like many of us, he was constantly battling against bad habits, staying up too late, missing workouts, and struggling to find the focus he needed to excel in his demanding job. He had read the usual self-help books, tried various productivity hacks, and leaned on willpower, but nothing seemed to stick. It wasn't until a personal wake-up call, a major health scare, that Duhigg realized the importance of understanding his habits. This event made him reevaluate his daily routines and habits, and ultimately led him to a deeper exploration of why habits are so hard to change, and what can be done about it. Duhigg's breakthrough came when he began researching habits at a deeper level. Through interviews with scientists, psychologists, and even studying neurological studies, he discovered a concept that completely changed how he viewed his own behaviors: the habit loop. This habit loop consists of three simple but powerful components: the cue, the routine, and the reward. The cue is the trigger, the thing that sets off the habit, like feeling stressed or seeing a certain time of day approaching. The routine is the action or behavior that follows the cue, like grabbing a cookie when you're stressed, or binge-watching your favorite show after a long day. Finally, the reward is the benefit or outcome that reinforces the habit, like the temporary relief from stress or the joy of distraction. Over time, the brain learns that this loop works, and the behavior becomes automatic. This process is how habits form, but Duhigg's key insight is that understanding this loop gives us the power to change our habits. The beauty of Duhigg's findings lies in the simplicity of the habit loop. Once you understand the loop, you realize that it's not about trying to eliminate the bad habits with sheer willpower. It's about changing the routine. The cue and the reward stay the same, but you can substitute the behavior. If stress triggers your habit of reaching for junk food, you could replace that routine with taking a short walk, practicing mindfulness, or calling a friend. This concept is deceptively simple, but it's the key to understanding how habits work and how they can be altered. Duhigg emphasizes that the brain can't easily break a habit loop. It can only replace it with a new one. This gives us a powerful tool for changing our habits, whether it's exercising more, quitting smoking, or breaking other ingrained behaviors that are hard to shake. But habits don't just affect individuals. They can shape organizations, companies, and even entire cultures. Duhigg goes on to illustrate how habits influence behavior on a larger scale. He brings in examples from corporate America, including the story of how Alcoa, an aluminum company, turned its fortunes around by focusing on safety as the keystone habit. By reinforcing the habit of safety throughout the company, Alcoa not only improved its safety record, but also saw increased productivity and profitability. This was a powerful realization. When you change the right habits within an organization, the effects ripple out, influencing other areas of performance. The key takeaway here is that habits are not just personal, they are cultural, and organizations can leverage habits to drive success. Duhigg draws on the story of Alcoa to show how one small habit can have a significant impact on larger outcomes, which is crucial for anyone looking to create meaningful change in any area of their life. One of the most fascinating aspects of Duhigg's research is how habits can be manipulated in a way that leads to positive outcomes. He explains that habits are not just passive, they are actively shaped by our environment, the people around us, and the social structures we are part of. Duhigg explores how habits are often influenced by societal forces, particularly in the context of consumer behavior. For instance, he delves into how companies like Starbucks and Target have used the power of habits to influence consumer behavior. Starbucks, for example, doesn't just sell coffee, it sells a habit. They've designed their stores, their marketing, and even their products to trigger habitual behaviors in their customers. Duhigg explains how Starbucks has taught its employees to help customers create positive habits, whether it's coming into the store at a specific time or developing a new routine to feel good about themselves. The success of companies like Starbucks demonstrates the far-reaching influence that habits can have, not only in personal lives, but in shaping entire industries and markets. The science behind habit formation also plays a huge role in Duhigg's exploration of human behavior. The book explains the neurological processes that take place when we engage in a habit. When we repeatedly perform a behavior, the brain essentially automates it. This process is facilitated by the basal ganglia, a part of the brain responsible for habits and routine behaviors. The more often a habit is repeated, the more entrenched it becomes in the brain. This is why habits are so hard to break. They're literally ingrained in our brains. However, this doesn't mean that change is impossible. By understanding the brain's role in forming and maintaining habits, Duhigg shows that we can rewire our brains to adopt healthier routines. By replacing one habit with another, we create new neural pathways that help solidify the new behavior. One of the key takeaways from the power of habit is the concept of keystone habits. These are the habits that have a ripple effect on other areas of our lives. Duhigg explains that when we change one habit, especially a keystone habit, it often leads to a cascade of positive changes. For example, exercise is often a keystone habit for many people because it leads to healthier eating, better sleep, and a more positive mindset. By identifying your keystone habits and focusing on changing those, you can have a transformative impact on your life. Duhigg emphasizes that these changes don't happen overnight, but with persistence, they can have lasting effects. Changing a keystone habit can be challenging, but the rewards are substantial, often leading to a shift in other important aspects of life. The practical applications of Duhigg's findings are both simple and profound. The first step in changing any habit is awareness. By paying attention to the cues and rewards that shape your habits, you can begin to identify areas where change is possible. Once you've identified your habit loop, Duhigg suggests experimenting with new routines. If you can replace a negative routine with a positive one, you can begin to rewire your habits. The key here is consistency. It's not enough to try something once and expect immediate results. The brain needs repetition to form new neural pathways, so persistence is crucial. Duhigg also emphasizes the importance of belief in the process. Belief in the possibility of change is what fuels the perseverance needed to break old habits and create new ones. Whether it's the belief in your own ability to change or finding support from others, belief is a central part of the habit-changing process. Throughout The Power of Habit, Duhigg alternates between fascinating narratives and insightful analysis, providing real-world examples to illustrate his points. He takes us through the success stories of companies, as well as individual transformations, showing how habits can be leveraged for positive change. He encourages readers to take action, experiment, and be patient with themselves as they try to create new habits. The overall tone of the book is empowering. Duhigg doesn't just leave readers with abstract concepts. He provides actionable steps that can be implemented in real life. To wrap up, The Power of Habit is more than just a book about how to break bad habits. It's a powerful guide to understanding the science of habits and how they shape our lives. Duhigg provides a roadmap for identifying, altering, and creating habits that can transform not just personal behaviors, but entire organizations and communities. By using the habit loop as a tool for change, we can break free from unproductive cycles and build new habits that lead to lasting success. The central message of the book is that change is possible. It's not about forcing ourselves to be different, but about understanding the processes that drive our behavior and working with them to create a better future. If you're ready to take control of your habits and your life, Duhigg's book offers the insights and tools to do so. Embrace the power of habit and start making small changes today. Over time, those small changes will snowball, leading to a life of greater purpose, productivity, and satisfaction. The power truly is in your hands.